Yeah, we're really evasive, but hit really hard. Stick around to see what we're doing, guys. Hey, it's Dan, and welcome back to Unified Gaming. Now, in this one, I want to break down my Stamina Nightblade PvP build. This is a high-speed, roly-poly Nightblade that is designed to hit like a truck, and by God does it do it. This does use many crafted sets, and I'm going to go through like I do in all of my videos and break down the gear, the skills, the race, the modders, everything you need to know so you can do just as well as I do. And if you have any questions, feel free to leave the comments, jump into our Discord. Alternatively, you can see us live to see actually how do you play this on Twitch. We do this every Saturday. But with that out of the way, let's just get into it. So for this build, we are an Orc on the for our race. Orc gives you access to just more stamina, which is great, extra health, and just more weapon damage. You also get some cheaper sprint cost, which is useful, and you move quicker at sprints. So this is a really, really useful thing to have. So yeah, an Orc for me is one of the better races. Dark Elf is great, as is Wood Elf. As for kind of our Mundus stone for this, I used the Serpent. It got a massive buff in Markarth, so definitely use this if you can. It's like one of the best Mundus stones in the game now, so yeah. For the attributes, we have all points in stamina, pretty typical, so all the points in stamina. As for consumables and things you need, I use Artaeum Takeaway Broth in CP, and in Battlegrounds particularly, so when I need a bit more kind of stam sustain, no CP especially, this is great. When you're in CP, you can actually get away with Sugar Skulls and have more Magicka for extra cloaks, so this is great in CP Cyrodiil. Or IC, this is great in no CP and Battlegrounds, so I mix between the two, depending on what I'm doing. As for kind of, should I be a vampire or not? As you can see, we're a stage 3 vampire. Being a stage 3 vampire gives you access to some really useful skills. You get Dark Stalker, which is really nice, so we can get to sneak quickly if we need to. We have no sneak penalty if we tap sneak, so again that's helpful. We also get bonus damage when we come out with sneak or cloak, which is really, really useful. So again, that's a bonus 300 weapon damage when we come out of just cloak, so more damage, so really useful reason to be a vampire. And you also get Undeath at stage 3, which is basically Mark of the Prior as passive. So this makes us quite bulky even though we have low resistances, so this is a really useful thing to get. If you want to know how do you get your vampire stage up, you actually have to eat, so you have to eat somebody in order to get your vampire stage up. I'm going to go through the skills now and also break down what you need to know. And if you are liking the video, then do leave a like and comments and make sure that you are subscribed. Many of you are still not. For the skills, it's really simple. We use Surprise Attack, Executioner, Relentless Focus, Shadowy Disguise, Rally, and Incapacitation Strike. Surprise Attack, if you're unaware, does stun people if we hit them from the side, so from their flank, so this is a really useful thing to have. And I did consider running Camo Hunter, but with the changes to it, it's not as good anymore this patch, so I'd recommend having Relentless Focus on this bar instead. For this big boy, spec bow, it hits it really hard. As for the bat bar, we use Leech and Strikes for stam sustain, but if you want to have more Magicka sustain, you can use Siphon Strikes instead. I then use Venom Arrow. This is a nice ranged interrupt, so if someone's resurrecting people in a 1vx, this is phenomenal. I then pair this with Shuffle. This basically gives us major evasion, which reduces our damage from AoEs, which they're the things that put at stealth, so really good. And it's also snare immunity for 7 seconds because of how much medium armor we wear. I then have Resolving Vigor, which is our heal over time, and I use Piercing Mark, which is basically a major minor breach, so it reduces the physical and spell resistances, and it also stops Nightblades from stealthing, so you can still see them. So if you cast this, you can attack them still with Light Attack Poison Injection or Venom Arrow, and this will pull them out of stealth so other people can see them too, so this is really useful for group play. And then for the ultimate, we're using Temporal Regard for the minor protection. It's 5% damage reduction, and what's really nice in the Sigil Order is this passive called Concentrated Barrier. If you basically block, you get a little shield around you which does absorb some damage, so it's just free stuff. And if you're somebody who doesn't have access to Somerset, just go to your support, slot Barrier instead, and what this will do is it will give you access to the combat Magicka Aid passive, And when this is level 2, you get 10% magical regen. So it's just a 10% magical regen buff if you swap barrier on the back bar, so it's a useful thing to have. But that there are the skills, it's nothing sort of revolutionary. I'm now going to go through the gear and whatnot, but I just want to say a huge thank you to our patrons before we do that. Like, your support really helps me make videos, so it's really appreciated, honestly. And if you want to support myself and the channel, then you can do so. There's a link in the description. You get access to the videos early, you get help on Discord and stuff, so loads of benefits. Donate as much or as little as you can, and simply liking, commenting, chatting also helps the video too and the channel. As for the gear, we are using Stan's Favour, so this is a really good set. Basically, this gives us loads and loads of penetration when we hit somebody from the flank, or when they're off balance, sorry. So when we use this, we get like a 5.3k pen, which is just really high, plus the 3-piece pen, which is again really nice. So this is a really powerful set. It's probably one of the best damage sets in the game. I then pair this with Clever Alchemist, and you're probably going, Stan, Clever Alch, this is really expensive. You can change Clever Alch, so don't panic, okay? I use poisons in the back bar, and I would recommend using a bow. When you use a bow and you roll dodge, you get Major Expedition, which is movement speed for a couple seconds, so this is really good at getting out of trouble. So use a bow if you can. I go with Infused, because I put my glyph on there sometimes, but if you don't put your glyph on there and use poisons, go with Defending. If you go, I don't have Clever Alch, you can change it to Briarheart, and this is a really good alternative. So Briarheart is a good alternative. If you've got any questions about it, leave a comment, I can obviously answer it, but Briarheart would be plan B if you don't have Clever Alch. I then put Bloodspawn with this all, and all of my armour is well fitted, the whole lot. And I have Tri-Stat on the head, the chest and the legs, Stamina on the small pieces, feet, hands, waist, shoulders. As for this, it's all medium as I've said. The loadout doesn't make much of a difference. The one thing to note is that we do actually have 1-piece trainery and it's a medium armor set. This is actually from a quest, so if you do the quest, go onto like esosets.com or just the ESO wiki, and you can basically just Google this armor. This is a quest reward, it takes about 10 minutes to do it. It comes in well fitted straight away and it's medium, so it's a really good piece. And yeah, saves you a lot of gold. So yeah, get this if you can. The rest of it is straightforward. For the jewellery, I've gone with Infused, and Infused. For weapon damage, I've gone with Clever Alch and Wild Hunt. And that's for the difference on this build, is that Wild Hunt gives us the speed that you would have as a Wood Elf at all times, so you move incredibly fast when you're in combat. And when you're out of combat, you move really quick anyway, so you don't need mounts, so it's a really useful thing to have. The one thing I would say though is that if you are a Wood Elf, for example, then you could probably change this to Talk or Tonal Constancy, the necklace, and just have an extra ring, and you get more magicka and stamina sustain. But I really like the speed ring for this build, it's really noticeable. As for kind of Markarth, it's not worth it, so ignore Markarth. And the Pale Order ring, although it's cool for PvE, it's not good for this build for PvP. So Wild Hunt or Talk or Tonal Constancy. And as we said, you can change Clever Alchemist to Briarheart should you wish. I would always keep Stan's Favour though, because this is a really good damage set. If you have any questions about the gear, the loadouts, just message me in Discord, message me on the comments here, and I'll do my best to reply as I can. Alternatively, you can go to our website, www.unifiedgaming.org. As of recent, Wix is the company we use. They have actually fixed a bug that I had, which is why I couldn't do the guides on there. Now they fixed it, I can put guides on there, so there will be a written guide very soon. So do check that out and keep it maybe bookmarked. As for kind of CP and kind of champion points, this is what I use. This seems to work best for me. Feel free to pause it, rewind it, find out what works best for you, but this is what's really good. So that's all of the CP. Went around a few times, rewind it, and so on. And then, like I do with all of my videos, I go through tips, tricks, things you can do to just do better on the build. And the biggest thing I can say is move. You are like super squishy if you're sort of standing out of cloak or you're not roll dodging. You know, you can take 1 or 2 hits, but against 2 or 3 people hitting at once, you might die quickly unless you're moving. So this is all about high movement speed to avoid damage rather than just take damage. If you do that right, you will stay alive and then you can just land damage time and time again. And always make sure that your vampire is stage 3, because that is really, really noticeable for the damage reduction. And if you want to see more kind of just tips and tricks on how to play this build, then do make sure that you are subscribed, because I feel like the video will come up very, very soon, showing you what I do in BGs, kind of the mistakes I make, how I learn from those, the things I do well, so you can obviously see what it's like there and learn from it. Alternatively, you can jump into our Twitch. We do it every Saturday on the weekend at 9 o'clock UK, and we obviously show builds like this, so you can see it in action yourself. But if you have any questions, as I've said, just post a comment. I am going to wrap this one up here though, so I was going to say a huge thank you to those patrons again, like it's really, really helped. And if you want to support me and the channel, there's a link in the description. But with that said guys, I'm just going to wrap this one up here. So thanks for watching, take care, and bye!